Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's March 25th, 2019. I'm over again in the lower north workshop area. The last video I posted regarding working in this shop, I had wired up quite a few of the electrical outlets, the 20 amp outlets around the perimeter. And one of the things I wanted to do was start putting up some more of the plywood going down around the perimeter as well. So that was one of my goals, but in order to do that I had to move. One of the big problems when you're working inside of a building that you're either living in or they have lots of storage materials in is you have to stop, move everything before you can extend your work into that area. And one of the things I had to move was the big cart that I made previously to hold all the glass from the greenhouse. And I couldn't budget. I used some boards to go ahead and try and get it to move, and the casters crushed, unfortunately. And those are those pretty heavy-duty casters that I had gotten through Amazon. So what I ended up doing was bringing my automotive jack over, the low-profile one, putting it underneath the frame of the glass cart that I made and jacking it up. And what I elected to do was use a couple of these Harbor Freight car dollies, in which each one of these dollies holds about 1,500 pounds. And there's 2 dollies in a package, and I think I got them on sale for like $40, $39.99. And so I assembled those, got the glass cart hoisted up, got the remaining part of the casters out, put that underneath one end, then did the same thing to the other side. And although I can move my truck or a car easily on these dollies when the vehicles are up on it, it's tough to move this glass cart. But I was able to move it ultimately, move it around so that I could. Well, one of the things I had to do was finish the stud work above this window so that the wires could be run appropriately. And then I went ahead and started installing some of the plywood down along this western wall, getting all the way down to the north wall. One of the challenges that I had when working with this plywood is I had gotten this plywood from Lowe's, and I ordered it, and it shipped several days later. It was all strapped down nicely, and I think what had happened was I got several sheets of plywood that folks probably had sorted through, and they were warped enough that they decided not to use them themselves, and they stacked them all on top of pretty much a fresh pallet as well of the plywood. So I'm getting down to the really nice plywood, but I had a lot of 5/8 inch 4-ply 4x8 sheets of plywood that were really warped a lot. So I decided, since they didn't have too many bad knots in them, and this is a lower grade plywood, it's 4-ply, and they can warp real easy, I decided to use the most warped ones on the bottom level, on the bottom layer here. And one of the challenges when you're working with, sorry about moving around here, when you're working with putting this plywood against the on top of the pressure treated 2x4 that's on the floor, and then getting it lined up, especially so you can do your cutouts for all the outlets that are back there. What I ended up doing was using a series of F-clamps. I used 3 F-clamps to hook onto the vertical 2x3, which the F-clamp has enough clearance. A C-clamp could too, but the F-clamps give me enough depth that I can actually get around those, hook onto the plywood, hold it in place while I'd adjust and work the area, and then I'd use some 3-inch wood screws to pull that plywood in so that I could actually get it close enough so that I could use 1 5/8 inch drywall screws and use a whole boatload of them to secure these pieces of plywood. It turned out great. It just takes more time and it's more effort, and really using F-clamps helped me out a great deal. that's one of the advantages of using the vertical and horizontal studding. It makes it much easier to do this. I'm saving all the flatter non-warped plywood panels for all the above the south shop wall and above up in here, so that I'm not straining and hurting myself very much. So what's going to show now is just some GoPro footage. I will have some GoPro showing just how I use the F-clamps on this wall. I didn't talk through it, I don't believe. Cut out any cussing. But I did get these sheets up, and so there'll be a little bit of time-lapse GoPro footage for that as well. Unfortunately, I didn't record any of the work with the cart or moving all the extra materials around here. I'm sure you'd love to see that. So just another video showing some of the progress going on over here. I'm going to work on the east wall next today. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. But those car dollies, when you got something super heavy to move around, they work pretty well. Save up a coupon or get one of the coupons to go to Harbor Freight and get it. I think they're just about all over the United States now anyways. So that worked out really well. Well, thanks so much for watching, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.